Welcome to the Sparklink Podcast, where you will meet young minds making a large impact one idea at a time. This is Ashna Reddy, your host. As reported by U.S. Travel Advertising, ad spend reached $7.6 billion in 2018, with 61% of that total marketing budget being spent on online channels like YouTube. Despite all of these expenses, consumers are hungry for more personalized and authentic content, which happens to be the top challenge that 46% of attraction marketers who work to create ads with travel technology companies like Expedia Group and Booking Hotels are facing right now. In addition, not being able to find travel videographers who truly enjoy and are passionate about traveling could lead to misrepresentation of the places and the cultures within those places. Furthermore, the YouTube Money Calculator reported that only the upper echelon of the travel channels on YouTube are making a decent amount of money. Quantitatively speaking, the estimated monthly earnings for that group are in the range of $2,000 to $9,000. This means that local videographers who are looking to make a living out of content creation from their travel expeditions are missing out, thus having to resort to other ways of making money which they might not be as passionate about, like videotaping weddings or even birthday parties. After realizing the reality that many local travel content creators are facing, the exorbitant amount of money that brands are paying for not so authentic travel content for advertisement, and the potential for misrepresentation of cultures and places, Kevin, Rieck, and Lotte co-founded Ravle as undergraduate students at Syracuse University. Ravle is a startup that helps connect travel companies with local videographers to increase their bookings all through trustworthy, scalable, and data-driven video. To get a better understanding of Ravle, I asked Kevin why and how he got interested in 1, starting something, and 2, the travel industry.
The company really got going when I was finishing my sophomore year at Syracuse University. I was kind of starting to think through my post-university plans, and a big part of me was pulling towards wanting to travel and do videography because I always grew up creating travel films, and I wanted to do something along those lines. And then I've always had like a knack for entrepreneurship since I was like 15. I've always been doing different like mini businesses, whether it be creating like an online auto parts store for dealerships in my town, or I also did like a yacht servicing business. That part of my brain started to kind of think how I could turn what I wanted to do, which was creating travel films after college, into a business. And so I started to look into these top travel filmmakers and how they were doing it.
And after looking at some data, here's what Kevin found out and what he did with that information.
And once I really got diving into the data of who was watching these travel films, I found out that about 70% of their views came from travelers trying to plan a trip similar to the ones they were viewing. And so I went ahead and started a company focused on working with top travel filmmakers to turn their videos into bookable travel experiences. So you could watch the films and then actually go and book those same adventures. And so that really was kind of the birth of Ravle and where we got started.
Like any product, Ravle's product has evolved over time. So I went ahead and asked Kevin to explain what the changes actually are.
Originally, we were a B2C company, but now we are a B2B, so we sell business to business. What we do is we help travel brands connect with top creators or videographers in their area to create content that their travelers want most. And then we give them the tools to deliver that content in interactive integrations that allow travelers to discover the trips that are shown in these videos and really drive them down the booking funnel.
Due to these changes, Ravle's customers fall into these categories:
online travel agencies, tourism boards, hotels, tour operators, all looking to kind of upgrade their ability to connect with travelers through video.
In order to create and advertise travel content made by local videographers, I was curious to know how the founders knew what to focus on in terms of what travelers needed and wanted most to plan their travels.
Yeah, what was so great about starting as a B2C company, despite us spending, you know, a year's time going in the wrong direction, we did really, really learn what travelers needed and wanted most to begin planning their travel. And so our back end system that allows travel videographers to upload all their content is built in a way that it collects all the information that we've learned travelers need most when making buying decisions. So all of that data that you see on our trips on our website is, what we've learned travelers need most for making that buying decision.
Throughout the process of creating Ravle, Tay and Kevin faced many challenges and went ahead and shared some of them.
One of the biggest things that is important to learn in like as early as possible is like how to validate your idea. And for us, we realized like trying to build a B2C travel platform would take so much capital to try and validate that idea. Like if you look at, travel platforms like Expedia, Airbnb, a lot of these huge sort of like travel aggregator programs, they're spending millions and millions of dollars on marketing. And like when we had this idea to first launch this business, we were kind of so focused on the product that we didn't really think about, how we were actually going to get it to travelers to get them to travel, to like really see value in the product. And so that was like our biggest challenge, was realizing, maybe we're approaching this problem the wrong way with the wrong product. Being able to like step back and like see that, I think is one of the biggest challenges that we faced.
Yeah, I'd also just say a big challenge was, starting anything in school is a challenge. If you're going to be starting a company, it really, really does take your full focus if you want to make solid progress and really grow in the way that you'd want to start to grow. It takes like 80 hours a week from all team members that you have. And so we actually did go part-time after our second year to focus more on the business, and that definitely helped us. And then I'd also say just building a team is probably one of the biggest challenges that any entrepreneur will face. It's just something that's really extremely hard to do, especially when you're looking to gain, talented individuals with a lot of experience, because they are now taking that risk to, leave a job or other job opportunities that are with well-established companies and well-paying to chase a startup. So that's definitely one of the other largest problems that you face.
Since Ravle was started when Tay and Kevin were undergraduate students, I was curious to know what they needed in the beginning to propel the creation.
Yeah, for starting Ravle, it was really, at first, just validating the concept. I think with any business idea, you have to do a lot of market research, a lot of customer discovery before you take any steps in building it, right? Or else you end up just wasting a lot of resources and a lot of time. And so I spent about 3 months on my own just doing a lot of primary and a lot of secondary research, interviewing travel filmmakers, interviewing travelers, learning about the industry. So that's kind of where I started. And then once I felt that there was some legs behind the idea, that's when I started to bring team members like Tay into the actual company. And then I also brought on 3 graduate level computer science students, Akash, Suja, and Apurva, who actually started to be my mentors and for software development and helped me start to build the platform that we envisioned. So that's kind of where we got our start. For funding, we really have bootstrapped since the beginning. So we've won a little bit of competition money, about 15, 20K in business competitions that we won through Syracuse University. And then we also competed in a startup madness at South by Southwest. And then outside of that, we've actually just done web development and design on the side, where we've brought in another 25K or so to help fund the company.
Now, let's check out what the true benefit of Ravle is.
Like, why we started this company in the beginning was to help support these creators. And so that's really a massive driving force for why we do what we do, because, these creators are artists looking to tell the stories of these cultures and these areas to support them. And a lot of times they just don't have the skill set nor the connections to do so. We get a lot of drive out of being able to support these creatives on creating these passion projects that really inspire them to continue to do what they do, because a lot of them are stuck, doing these side gigs that they're really not so passionate about, whether it be weddings or shooting for, local companies. A lot of these creators get stuck in that way. And so we help, that's kind of our one main driving force. And then other problems that we're solving is just really kind of the messed up process that is video creation in the travel industry today. Right now, brands are spending anywhere from, $40,000 to $200,000 on these video shoots. There's creative agencies involved, there's content agencies involved, there's influencers and shooters and editors, and at the end of the day, they're creating this branded content that the data is showing travelers are not looking for. It doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't feel trustworthy to the modern day traveler. And so we're able to create real authentic stories with the creators that we connect with, brands that do connect with travelers. And we're able to do it at a price that isn't ridiculous. And same with our time. Like, we're able to cut an average contract in half the price and half the time. And so that's kind of the industry issue that we're trying to solve.
And here's Ravle's overall vision.
Yeah, like what our big vision is for Ravle is that we really believe that we can change the way that all these travel and tourism organizations are marketing themselves to the modern traveler. Like, we envision our company being able to work with all of the top travel brands across the globe as our collective of top travel videographers scales in a way that helps them share these visual stories of real travelers out traveling in a way that inspires others to be able to chase that same adventure. And at the end of the day, when we have that broad scale impact on content and really hitting travelers, places where they're making decisions like Instagram and YouTube, and with that content that's engaging, we think that that can help bridge the gap between travel videographers and what they're experiencing and travel brands and what they're showing, to help more people just be able to travel and, travel sustainably. And working with these different travel organizations, we really have a great lay of the land and understanding of, how we can protect areas from over tourism, how we can support and promote certain areas that need tourism. It's like our recent customer is an eco lodge down in the Amazon, and it's an eco lodge that's 100% owned and operated by the Achuar Indigenous Nation. And ecotourism is a super powerful tool for them to be able to create jobs that are helping protect the forest and also promote their culture and preserve their culture. And so, being able to work with customers like that's very empowering in the sense of like using Ravle for good.
If you are interested in starting something or fulfilling your projects and ideas, here's some advice both Tay and Kevin shared.
One thing that I feel like we did right in the beginning was sought out mentors and advisors and looked to people that had been successful in what we were trying to do and asked for their help. Building those relationships has been so crucial, not only for our ability to learn what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, where to focus, all of that, but also just having like that accountability to keep going and like push through the lows, really stay on the journey, because it's definitely not easy. Like it's probably one of the more difficult, I guess, like career paths you could choose. And having those advisors and those mentors, for me, what was something that I feel like, outside of my team, that like kept me going.
Just really identifying what assumptions you're making in the business and making sure you're uncovering the truth behind them. I think assumptions are definitely the biggest downfall to any startup or any business. You assume that the customer will want what you're creating. You assume that you can reach your target customer via whatever marketing efforts you're creating. And so I think at the end of the day, really, really be honest with yourself and identify what assumptions you're making in the business, and then do everything you can to kill those assumptions if you want to move forward without going the wrong way or going a lot slower than you should be going.
At the current stage, Ravle is constantly improving their product based on the close relationships they have with their customers and is continuing to ensure they have a high customer retention rate. Interested in joining Ravle? Great news! They currently have an open position for a content marketing and strategist intern. You can apply at the angel.co link posted in the episode description. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and please subscribe so you don't miss a new episode every Wednesday. You can also follow this podcast for regular updates on Twitter and Instagram at Sparklink Pod, all lowercase.